evening when they played Most Dangerous Game.
I was stripped of my clothing. I was allowed to wear tennis shoes and told that I could have a head start and begin running before I would be hunted down. My exposure to it resulted in my believing I had no place to run and no place to hide. It seemed there were no limits to what could happen in my existence at that time.
It was the most extreme, one of the most extreme situations I think I ever survived.
Greetings and salutations. Mark Phillips and Cathy O'Brien have been through a lot. Cathy has had some extraordinary experiences in the mind control program, and Mark came along and pulled her out of the situation. So without further ado, if you'll please give a warm round of applause to Mark Phillips and Cathy O'Brien.
When I was a really young child growing up in Muskegon, Michigan, this would be the early 60s. I was born in 1957. My father had been sexually abusing me as far back as I can remember. And he often bragged of substituting his penis for my mother's nipple while I was an infant. So my sexuality was heightened from a very, very early age. And I also developed what is known as dissociative identity disorder. It was formerly termed multiple personality disorder, but has since been redefined because it's not multiple personalities, but the shattering of a personality and a compartmentalization of memory, of trauma, too horrible to comprehend. Childhood sexual abuse is certainly too horrible to comprehend. There was no place for that in my mind. This compartmentalization of memory was what the government was interested in, because they figured that if a person couldn't think to bring to mind abuse, they wouldn't be able to think to bring to mind government secrets, government perversions, or anything else they wanted compartmentalized in the brain. My experience as a mind control slave on a White House Pentagon level was extreme. I was totally robotic. I had no capacity to think for myself. I didn't have any free thought whatsoever. I didn't even have the ability to question, to reason, or consciously comprehend what I was involved in.
Mark, how do you feel being in Arkansas right now?
Nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Why is that?
This place is dangerous, and I'm not too pleased with actually being here.
I don't know how many times we've been in situations where we weren't sure if we were going to make it through it.
I couldn't count.
I can't either. But this is definitely one of them. It's over the line.
One of the worst. Because when you start this process, this is what gets everybody killed, is the investigation process. And that's just not cool. We're in it, we're on the back of the tiger, and we can't get off. We've got to finish this. What we got here, Stephen, is somebody who's top world-class businessman in his own business arena. This guy's not somebody you want to mess with. Now, he's been threatened many, many times. He's gotten into a couple of gunfights. I strongly urge you to think very carefully about your questions. And don't attempt to try to fool him by putting him on camera. Except maybe in a silhouette or something.
Would you like to know a couple of things?
I want to know everything.
If you're looking for validation in terms of what Mark and Cathy have laid on the table, hey, is it real? Yeah, it's real. And when you consider that you have members of the judiciary, law enforcement, high-level place business people, politicians involved, you understand what I'm just saying to you? It's people who shape how you see the world, tell you what's important, what's not important. If you choose to take a deep look at it and do your own research, fine. You'll find out for yourself. Hope you're fast on your feet, and hope you're capable of dodging bullets, because you might run into some. These are serious people.
Lampe, Missouri was a place where I heard George Bush and Bill Clinton talking. Where, from the point of view I had, they certainly were friends, and they didn't recognize any party lines between them. That's something for the, a smoke and mirrors illusion for the public. It's not something they adhere to, because they had exactly the same agenda, and that was for bringing in this new world order. I heard George Bush talking at that time. He was talking to Bill Clinton, and I've since photographically recorded it and wrote it verbatim in our book, that when the American people became disillusioned with Republicans leading them into the New World Order, that Bill Clinton, as a Democrat, was going to be put into the office of president. This was decided in 1984. Actually, I'd heard about it even prior to that. But that, as of 1984, they were already discussing it as an absolute fact. It was also discussed in the groundwork for NAFTA that by the time George Bush went into the office of president, that Salinas was going to become president of Mexico, and they together would be bringing in the NAFTA, which was the beginning of New World Order controls. My sexual experience with Bill Clinton was extremely limited, in spite of the fact that I was a sex slave. It was my experience that Bill Clinton is bisexual, leaning far more towards a homosexual end. All I've ever seen him involved in was a homosexual activity, with very limited experience with him myself. Whereas my experience was much more prevalent with Hillary Clinton, because Hillary is also bisexual, leaning more towards a homosexual end, and it was she who accessed my sex programming to fulfill her perversions. These facts so that you can be better armed and understand what's happening in society, and name names. Mark and I name names in our book, Transformation of America, not so that I can say, well, I was in the White House with so-and-so. I mean, I missed the whole glamour part, but this is so you know who the problem is and where these problems lie.
And it all happens as she's starring as a kind of villain in the tabloid accounts of supposed jealous arguments and then a horrible breakup with her self-proclaimed first love, Justin Timberlake.
You've had a rough year. You've had a year that would test a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Illness in the family. Mm-hmm. A breakup. This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Brittany. Yeah, it was a weird time. Ew. I'm embarrassed. embarrassed. Can we stop this? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strawberry. Yeah, it was weird. Ew. I'm embarrassed. Can we stop this?
Do you ever go on the internet, Lady Gaga?
I try to stay away.
Yeah, because it's filled with mad rumours.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Would you like to hear a couple?
I'm sure I don't have a choice.
They're not bad ones.
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay, because you know what I think they are? I think sometimes people read your lyrics and they read stuff into your lyrics and then they create
Thank
stuff.
goodness.
Yeah, okay, because there's one of your songs, there's a line where you're saying you're bluffing with your muffin.
Yes.
Right, and then I've been inquired, there's someone that said that Lady Gaga is actually a very well-endowed young man. And I think that might come from that thing. But I've seen photographs on stage, and if you're well endowed, I've got no idea where you're hiding it.
Right.
But that is
well, I do have a really big donkey dick.
Can we'll take the bit out and dub over the words disco stick there instead.
Well, bluffing with your muffin, it's, you know, the song Poker Face.
Yes.
It's about poker facing with your sexuality. When I was making love to my old boyfriend, I used to think about women sometimes.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sure he was delighted when you told him, because...
I actually never told him, but I'm sure he's watching now. Ah. Was making love to my old boyfriend, I used to think about women sometimes.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sure he was delighted when you told him.
I heard Ronald Reagan telling Brian Mulroney that he believed the only way to world peace was through mind control of the masses. I know from experience there's no peace of mind under mind control. And I wonder at a world peace where people don't have peace of mind. Mind control, the ramifications of mind control are far-reaching, because I also know that under mind control there's no free thought. Without free thought, there's no free will. Without God-given free will, there's no soul expression. What kind of a world peace can we have without any free will or any soul expression, without any spirituality? Mind control needs to be exposed in order that people maintain their freedom of thought, in order that people maintain their free will and have that spiritual expression, because of spirituality, when people have soul and spirituality, they're going to be acting in a capacity of love anyway. That is where world peace is, not in mind control.